You are live, says my screen. Welcome to episode 4 of Chairboys Live. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope everyone took part in Phil Catchpole's Ultimate Lockdown Quiz over on his YouTube channel. Let us know how you got on. We have some very special guests, but first, let's get an audience. I'm just going to send the link across social media and see how many people we can get to join us today. Let's see who turns up. Last week we had Matt Bloomfield with Molly and Rosie, Alex Samuel, JJ, Jack Grimmer, Pete Kuig, who else to be on the first episode, young Toby, and Ben joined us on episode 1. Episode 2, well, that was bonkers. David Stockdale, Paul Smith, Giles Phillips, Craig Anderson, and Barry. And episode 3, a real treat for Wanderers fans, particularly the iFollow subscribers and the Worldwide Wanderers. We had Bill Turnbull, Phil Catchpole, Alan Parry, Pete Kuig. Who's the fifth? There were 6 of us. Cedo, of course, joined us. Morning to our first commenter, Shannon Spicer. Liam O'Rourke, regular viewer. Thank you, Liam. Hope you're doing well. Have a bit more camera. There we go. And to Ryan as well. Almost ready to welcome our guests into the room. It's Monday, for those of you that are losing track of the days, 11 a.m. Apologies that these have been spread across quite a few different days and times to keep you on your toes. Thanks for keeping across it with social media. We've got loads of viewers coming in. David, morning to you. Morning to Matty. Morning to Phil. We have in the room Neil Summers. Morning to you. Johnny South has tuned in. First time commenter, I think, Johnny. Oliver Brady. Thank you, Oliver. We have Jack. We have coming in. Hang on. Can't keep up. Andrew and Rachel. Tracy. Ian. Leaguers. Into the rate and still looking up. Kyle Geddes. Susie Clark. Blast from the past, Susie. And a blast from the current as well, Susie. Previous employee of the club, lifelong fan. Gary Broughton. The last episode was the best one yet. You're saying in the media are more entertaining than the players. Interesting. We have Renner. I can't get all of these on the screen now. Renner, David Alderman. I like this one from David. You're a key worker in my house. Do I get special privileges? Mike and Kathy Locke, morning to you. Sue McLeod. Jeff Ross. Haven't you got a lawn to be mowing, Alan? Come on, Mum wants a cup of tea. Molo, Dylan Peters, Luke Harris, Rachel Slatter, Aaron White. I won't flash you all up on the screen. Dylan, Bradley, Michael, Dylan, David, and Rob Cully. So first of all, I'm going to welcome an ever-present on Chairboys Live. Pete.
Hey, how are you?
Sound on? Is my sound on? Yeah, all good, thank you. Do you know what? We normally introduce guests one by one. I think we're going to go for a blast. But if everyone's ready, the Lavenders are ready, ever present on Chairboys Live. A special edition today. I was about to say we have no footballers for you, but they're going to argue the case that these are actually footballers. So, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together, virtually or realistically in your households, because I'd like you to welcome onto Chairboys Live, episode 4. We have Gareth Ainsworth and Kane. We have Sir Richard Dobson. We have, if he accepts his video, because I think he's just a dot at the moment, Andy Fairman. And goal scorer extraordinaire, David Wates, are all into the room. Morning, gentlemen. How are you doing?
It doesn't count. It never happens.
Morning,
Straight on.
You started already.
We'll come to that. Morning, Kane. How are you doing up there?
I'm good, thank you.
Good man, good man.
Kane Presley, Angels. Big fun.
I know. Fantastic stuff. We've lost Andy already. I don't know what's happened there. We're going to try and get him back in.
David and Dobbo could use that in the debate that we're about to have.
The world wants to know why Andy's doing his
What's the internet like in the north? I mean, is it different?
We've only just got
They got
TV.
internet?
Look at this. Thank you to everyone who's commenting with Ed, Oliver.
Oliver, how you doing?
Gareth,
Ed
you're
as
losing
well.
this northern. Gareth,
The Lavenders, hold on.
that little egg right there is losing the northerner versus southerner debate
Whoa.
we're about to have.
Internet problems in the south as well. Hold on.
Listen, don't put us all in the same basket as Andy. All right.
I don't know, Gareth. I watched your thing on QPR Saturday night. It was a little sketchy, the connectivity.
It's a total. No, I'm down south as well.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
It's a total different
No
basket.
makeup today, though.
You what, Dobbo?
No makeup.
Oh, no makeup. Nah, no makeup today. Yeah, you should have seen the state of my pillow on Sunday morning. Don't have gone mental.
Kane, was that embarrassing, or did you?
You look like you had a good
enjoy
time,
that Saturday night.
Yeah, enjoy it. He came to see Kiss with me about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
No, they're cool. Where's Matt gone then? So Matt's gone. We're live on Chairboys. So I'll kick it off then. Ken, who's your favourite Wickham player? And I don't pick this player just because it's his favourite, by the way. But he's got to tell me.
Guys.
Anthony Stewart.
Anthony Stewart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. Why? Tell us why, Kane.
Because he's pretty fast and he's a solid defender.
Two great qualities there.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll take that. He's had a great season so far as well.
Stito talked about a little about that on Friday, and it's something I think y'all can talk about. Is one of the successes of the team this year has been our defensive effort, and he said a lot of that was about the training sessions and how much we focus on that. Love to hear Dobbo go into that a little bit.
To be fair, it's something that we've had a little bit of longevity with. So it's pretty much like clockwork. The boys all understand their roles, and I go back to a game we played a couple of years ago now in the promotion season at Crawley, and Chris Powell was at the game doing some scouting, and he went in the next morning to the Southend team of staff, and Lee Harrison has relayed this message to me. And he said when you watch Wickham defend, he said it's like clockwork. They all know their jobs. They all cover each other's backs. He said, and everybody knows if one's out of position, what to do and how to recover into position and look after each other. And that's just time that's given us that. And obviously, the players are responsible individuals that they do want to watch each other's backs. They do want to look after each other, and it's a work ethic that we have at the club.
Yeah, I think to add to that, I think the philosophy we put down is really important. That we detail our philosophy, and we start pre-season as real one-on-one individual sessions with each player, so they know exactly their jobs when they're being faced up one-on-one, and then we'll build it into the units. And when we talk about defending, it's the whole 11. It's the whole 11, and the way we set up. I mean, we base a lot on. We always go back to what are we? How do we play? And let's base everything on that. So that defensive structure is so important, and I think we have worked on it, aren't we? Because we were concerned in the early days conceding too many, and I think it's an ongoing thing. We're always trying to develop. We're always trying to make it just that touch better. It's hard. Obviously, Darius can only play one a week, and then you bring in someone else in, and we've had Giles, we've had Cecil, we've had to compensate sometimes. So it's difficult. Believe me, a change in the team, it changes everything in that game. You're used to playing with one person for so long. The change can sometimes change. So it's really important they have a common base to work off, and that philosophy is key as well. But no, I couldn't have a better set of coaches to help me put it in, and we're fantastic with the culture and everything there.
It's like being at the training ground, isn't it, with these Wi-Fi problems? Can't do.
Yeah, well,
I've managed to get back in the building.
What are you talking about, Gareth? And I solved that.
Yeah, I can't actually hear Gaz, so I can see his mouth moving, but I can't hear what he's saying. So you might have to relay that to me.
Can you hear me, Matt and Pete?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, strange. It might be worth dialing out and dialing back in, Dobbo. That might work.
No worries. I'll give it a go.
I'm always like one of the players on a Saturday when I'm shouting onto the pitch. He's pretending you can't hear me.
Right. Wates is back in. Watesy, welcome back.
I'm back.
Wait,
Thank you.
can you hear?
Dobbo's dropped out temporarily
Yes.
to try and sort out his audio.
Is it
He can't
everyone's
hear.
struggling with the internet? Is it, or is it coming from source?
Not sure.
The millions that have logged in, Waits, so you're clogging the system up.
No, exactly. We crashed the internet. Right.
I'm surprised yours connects, Gaffer. I mean, your internet is notoriously bad.
I'm through my phone at the moment, so yeah.
Right. Dobbo's back on.
Good. I can hear you.
Can you hear me now,
Good man.
Dobbo?
Yeah, I got you, Gaz. I got you.
Oh,
Here
I
we
can
go.
see your lips
Rough
moving.
and running.
all the way to the New Forest.
You know what the crazy thing is? This Zoom call kind of replicates exactly what it's like to have a conversation with Watesy. I mean, Big Bird's like 6'6". You're always looking up at him. You know?
The only time I'm looking down on Watesy this, I'm happy here.
I'm disappointed with
yellow
the
one as well.
background though. It's kind of I did a little work on my background. Watesy, you know, it's just got the corner of the.
I've had to shuffle around to try and get some internet signal. I've been in numerous different places around the house to try and get the best spot.
Oh, here we go.
Gaz has obviously got the coolest background.
Well, yours is pretty cool as well, but my Guns N' Roses always there. Always got my back.
Like I did everything. I've got books. Hold on, I got books. I've got balls. I've got scarf.
No,
Can't forget the Rebellion beer. You know.
no, all good. Well, just before Kane leaves us, Matt, he's already gloating on the video. So there's going to be a video posted, I think, on the website, isn't there? That me and him had a little competition yesterday in the garden on a certain skill. And I know Wates and Dobbo are probably giggling here, saying "skill, the gaffer." Them words don't go, and yeah, rightly so. You'll see in the video as well. But we'll see who comes out on top. Yeah. But he's got some school.
So Kane, have you been teaching your dad some skills then, Kane?
Yes. He's not very good at them.
Hey, best cross.
Has he got me around the world yet?
Best cross it in the land. That might be coming up, Pete. But hey, I might not have any skill, but I could cross the ball. I'll tell you that.
Kane, do you remember your dad playing football, or were you too young when your dad gave up?
I was too young. I can't really remember.
I was 41. How old were you then? You totally forgot.
Yeah.
He's mad into his FIFA at the moment. And I'll have to say that since Joe Jacobson got in FIFA Team of the Year, 85 rated, he's got him at left back in his team. There's just a discrepancy on his pace. There's just a little number on his pace that we think might be
pretty quick on the game.
You want
88 or something?
88. Yeah.
78 shooting or something, which just seems
Wait,
a little
did
bit.
they consult you on those numbers? Did EA consult you on JJ's pace?
No, we don't get a say in that. Who else is in your team, Kane?
I've got Neuer. I've got a German mixed team. It's like
He's gone efficient, I think. Who's up front for you?
Haaland.
Haaland's up front. Scored 5 in 6 already for Kane, so quite true to form, yeah.
Yeah. And
Jacobson putting in the assists for Haaland, nice.
Yeah. And he qualified. What tournament did you qualify at weekend?
the FUT champions.
FUT champions. So I think top
I
what?
got into the top 100.
Top 100 in the world, which concerns me slightly that he's meant to be doing schoolwork and he's entered the top 100 on FIFA. So there's a bittersweet thing there. So we'll see.
No, gamers is like, that's a professional career now. People make fortunes out of it. You don't need to go to school. You just need to be, pro at FIFA.
Right.
That's parenting advice.
Hey, and speaking of which, his next lesson's just coming up, so we're going to lose Kane. All right.
Yeah.
Good to see you, mate. Top
Bye.
man. All right.
Cheers, Kane.
Thanks for joining. Right, we're still waiting on Andy to dial back in. He's sort of there, but he hasn't connected his devices. So we're going to get there. So, Gaz, how long did it take to get the makeup off?
Yeah, it was great. Saturday was. I found out I was hosting the quiz a week before, and I found out that Clint Hill obviously assistant manager at Fleetwood, had worn a tuxedo and put on a real good show as a game show host. So I thought, how can I outdo that? And do you know what? Honestly, I was just going to put a sleeveless Motley Crue top on and just have the background I've got. And one of my mates said, "You know what you want to do? Full Gene Simmons." I went, "I'm doing it." So Donna was fantastic with the makeup. We had 1 hour to go, and she finished the makeup brilliantly. And it went down a storm. So really pleased. And speaking of Gene Simmons, enters Andy.
Tetley.
Sorry, a few Wi-Fi problems.
No worries, Andy. How you doing? You okay?
No. Welcome to the club. We're all buzzing. So, who's going to explain to the audience why Andy's known as Tetley?
I make a great brew.
I think Tetley should answer that question.
Being northern and everything, you know, us northerners, we make great tea, great brews. So I think that was the reason why I got called Tetley, wasn't it?
I don't know that I make it.
There's more to that story.
Come on, Davey, give it to us, Davey.
Come on, Andy.
We as a staff, we tend to play a game of foot golf every day, a quadrant every day, which is basically getting the ball in all the quadrants around the training ground. So we've got 8 quadrants we've got to get round. The loser has to make brews for the rest of the staff. And if you lose the most during the week, you've also got to buy biscuits as well. So, you know, they've had a bit more experience than me on the courses and getting used to the different conditions. So, I ended up having to make quite a few brews to start with.
You bought so many biscuits, you can't afford Wi-Fi as well, isn't it?
And continue, I might add.
But we had to introduce a standard of biscuit because Andy was buying some terrible stuff. So there's now a standard of biscuit you must supply if you lose the week's quadrant, and he's upped his game lately, which is good. Although it's not great. Well, to be fair, Watesy usually just munches them all anyway, so it doesn't matter. Like me and Dobbo, we don't have to look after our physiques. Watesy just cookie monster there in the bottom corner.
And you must be saving
a
a
while
load of money
since
without
having to
having to
buy
buy
any.
these biscuits.
It's been a while since I've had to buy any, to be fair.
Yeah, I know you're undefeated in a month or so, aren't you?
This lockdown's doing you a world of good.
Dobbo, what have you been doing to keep busy? I can imagine you out on the bike every day around the New Forest. Is it quite a pleasant lockdown experience for you?
I have, yeah. I've been real busy actually. So I've become a teacher, which I'm really enjoying. It's a chance to invest a little bit of time in your family, isn't it? I mean, you know, the silver lining to the cloud that's the coronavirus is that you've got time with the kids and far more time than you would normally have. So it's given me a great chance to really dig deep with them and help them with their homework and as people, which I've really enjoyed. From a fitness perspective, I'm really fortunate. You know, where I live, 5 minutes on the bike and I'm riding along the coast. And then 5 minutes north and I'm into the forest and at the moment with so few humans around, the animals have taken over the road, so the most difficult part of the bike rides are navigating between the donkeys and the horses and the cows that have taken back the roads again. So I've been pretty fortunate in that respect, but also for the viewers, we have an online platform called Y Scout, and it enables us to watch any team or any player in the British Isles. So we've been doing quite a lot of work on potential recruits and planning for next season, and it's given us a little bit of time without the mayhem of games and how quickly the games come and the preparation for that, just to take stock of our recruitment needs and look at who might be available come whenever the summer is, come that summer.
We had Cedo on the show on Friday, and he said that players have been receiving kind of video and kind of motivational stuff from yourselves as the coaches, which he said is, you know, a big help, particularly when they feel so distant from each other and from football. Tell us a little bit more.
Yeah. So from my perspective, we have a psychologist who works with us at the club on a part-time basis, Misha Jerfis, and she's put together sort of little 3-minute videos to help the players with their mindfulness during this period and purposeful behaviours, because you can get lost when you're stuck at home, particularly as a young lad. So she's put them together, and I've sort of, through Matt Bloomfield, put them out into the group, just to try and help the boys if there are any struggling through this period. And I've spoken to a few of them. I know Gaz speaks to them religiously. It's important to look after each other. We've got each other's backs when we're together and we're on the pitch, but we've also got each other's backs when we're apart. And I think it's pertinent to say a big thank you at this moment in time to all the NHS and key workers that have done us so proud over the last month or so. A big thank you from us as staff. And also, I just want to say a public thank you to Stocko, because I thought that was a fantastic gesture. And I think it just epitomises what our club is all about, the connection between people and having each other's backs. And for a lone player to buy into what we are as a club and to put a gesture like that out to our fans, I just thought was a fantastic moment from him and somebody that really gets the what it's all about at this moment in time, the emotions of it all. So thank you, Stocko, for that. Really appreciated.
Absolutely. Andy, I was going to ask you about Stocko. I don't know if you've seen his appearance on Chairboys Live last Wednesday.
I watched it, yeah.
It caused a stir. Did that surprise you, though? You've worked with him so closely. Is that what he's really like?
Every day. And imagine having 3 of them like that as well. They're all the same. They're all nutcases kind of thing. But you expect that from keepers. They're all a bit nuts.
Yeah, what is it about goalkeepers? I mean, I know it's a famous saying that they're all a bit crazy, but
is there a percentage you could put on goalkeepers that aren't crazy? What's your guess on percentages of goalkeepers that
very, very low,
crazy? Under 10%? Under
not the good ones. Put it that way. Not the good ones, anyway. Sane ones don't dive at people's feet and getting away with a ball being hit at 70, 80 mile an hour. You've got to be crazy to start doing that. What kind of nutcase throws it? I'm talking about Cam recently in training. A ball came loose. He couldn't get his hands free, so the nearest thing he could throw was his head. So he just threw his head in front of somebody's foot to try and stop a shot. So what kind of lunatic does that?
Agree.
Who are some of the keepers you've worked with, Andy? You were with Jordan Pickford, were you, at one point?
Yeah, I had Jordan Pickford at Everton. Joe Robles was there. Tim Howard was there. Martin Stackenberg was there. Those are your main ones there, and obviously you've got some of the kids coming through there. But those are the key ones that were there at the time.
Is Stocko the most crazy you've worked with?
Yeah, definitely. They've all got unique characters, but yeah.
Can I just tell this story just to butt in, Andy? Because the fans won't know this, but Stocko's got a Rolls Royce. So he's obviously done very well in his career. And his first day when we first signed him, he rolled up in his Rolls Royce and he saw the other cars in the training ground, and it didn't quite fit in with the other cars in our training ground. So later that week, he went out and bought a cheaper Volkswagen Golf so that he fit into our squad and the cars that our boys are driving in the team. So when we've re-signed him on loan, he's come back in and I said to him, you're going to have to buy yourself another Volkswagen. He said, I kept it. He said, I knew I was coming back. So he kept the Volkswagen because he knew he was going to make a return at some stage. That's
different to when we found out his loan was up. Remember, Dobbo, on the bus coming home from Accrington last year, he made a big speech on the bus and he said to us all, he went, guys, that's me, I'm done. I'm gutted. Like, Birmingham have called me back. I'm gutted. I'll see you all later. By the way, does anyone want to buy a Golf? That's the character that guy is, for all the jester and the clown, and he does it for the boys, and you see him for the club. He does it. He doesn't do it for anything else. He'll put himself down for a laugh. He never turns it on anyone else, which is fantastic from Stocko, and he does it for this group. He's active on the group, the WhatsApp group. I know he's one of the most active, keeping the boys connected. And as a player, I mean, he's fantastic. I'm blessed to have probably three great keepers with Cameron, who's unproven yet. But I mean, Ryan, we've been putting some clips together of the boys to show the boys, and I sent them to you, Pete, and Ryan made some fantastic saves during the season already. Stocko, we know the talent he is, you know, and he's a little bit ring rusty, obviously, with not playing, but I'm blessed with some great qualities in those keepers, and when I speak to them, they're totally focused, they're totally engaged on football, and so for all what you do see, he's a fantastic professional as well, and Ryan and Cameron, and like I say, blessed at the back there with those three keepers.
Let's talk about another unsung hero who has made quite a splash this season. And Phil Catchpole's going to ask the question here. David Wates' goal against Hungerford Town officially never happened now. The competition has been cancelled due to coronavirus. Watesy, you must have been mortified.
I knew there was only a reason that you brought me on here, just to bring this goal up.
We could talk about the pros of it was a great goal, but we wanted to get your reaction to it officially never happening now.
Well, officially doesn't matter too much to me. It actually happened. So I was there and I had the moment. So that I've had the moment. That's all that matters to me. It doesn't matter whether it's official or not.
I got your back.
And
I got your back, Watesy. You can't take that away from me.
Watesy, can I ask you what your first involvement was in the game? Do you remember what your first involvement was in the game?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I ran into some advertising audience. I just come on and full of energy and wanted to really run around as much as I could for the team, and that involved running straight into an advertising hoarding. And I knew that it was the first thing that I did, and I knew as soon as I did it, because it made a huge noise, that the gaffer and Dobbo would have been on the touchline pissing themselves, and I tried not to look over, but I knew what they were doing.
And talk us through the goal. It was a pretty clean strike. Now, we've seen you play in staff matches on the pitch in the summer, and actually we played against the EFL once, and I think the gaffer was on the team as well, but they thought you were the former pro. You've played at quite a good level as well, haven't you?
Can I just say, Watesy, you've got to tell the viewers, for those that weren't there, what happened that preceded your goal with Ben Fremper. So you've got to add that to your story.
Yeah, it was contentious actually. So Ben Fremper, who was playing in the game for us, had gone off with cramp, and he had gone off by the side of the pitch, and the game played on, and the Hungerford had the ball, centre half was on the ball, and he turned to play a pass, and at that same moment, the referee called Ben back onto the pitch, but the Hungerford player hadn't seen this and passed the ball pretty much straight to Ben Fremper, who came on the pitch, took the ball off of the Hungerford player, and then passed to me, and I scored. And obviously, all the Hungerford players had kicked off massively and trying to cause a fuss about goal and everything. So that was a controversial part of it for sure.
So if you think back to pre-season and that game against Woking, now this was kind of not long after the massive budget cuts, the tiny squad that we were working with. And I remember, Gaz, you pulled me to one side before the teams were going to sort of be announced, and you said, Anthony Stewart's got a knock, we can't risk him, we're going to have to play Watesy. Like, it makes us look a bit kind of semi-professional here, doesn't it? But you nearly scored Watesy. Didn't Bayo nick one off you near the end?
Yeah, there was there were a few free kicks in that game, and I knew if you get around Bayo, then you're always going to be in with a chance. So all of the free kicks that we had, I remember Ryan also was hitting Bayo quite well that day, and I thought if I can just get in and around him, it might just fall to me. And there was one moment where it nearly did, and but Bayo was just in front of me and nicked it off me. So that was the nearly one.
Well, we're going to say you've got one goal to your name, no matter what the stats say. That's your goal to keep. Don't you worry about that, Watesy. Don't forget you can send in your questions for the coaching staff. There's a few comments coming up down the side. Lots of you asking the same questions, so we're not going to avoid it. But basically, how do we envisage the rest of this season working out? I actually quite enjoyed a recommendation on Twitter the other day. It should be ranked on who serves the best food for the media, because Wycombe Wanderers do a cracking lasagna, and I reckon we'd be championship if that happened. But guys, you must just be constantly sort of checking your emails, checking the news feeds, and just looking for more information about how our greatest ever season so far might be concluded. It's bonkers, isn't it?
Yeah, from my personal perspective, this is something that's totally out of our control. So you can only worry about the things that you can control, and at this moment in time, it's about what we can manage in terms of trying to plan for the future, and obviously around our kids at home, which is one of them's found her way next to me. But the other thing I think that we've got to be mindful of is that the amount of deaths that are still occurring. And every single one of them deaths is a tragedy. So we're getting numbers every day, but behind each of them numbers is a story and a person and a void in their community, whether it's a family or friends or whatever. And what we're talking about a sport here, which is myself and Gaz went to a psychology lecture a couple of years ago at Arsenal, and the psychologist there used the term football is the most important of all the unimportant things. And I think that gets the mood perfectly. Football's great when everything else is going well, but health and family are the most important things. And at this moment in time, we need people to stay safe. I said to somebody the other day, it's the equivalent of coming to Adams Park on a Saturday and having a 5,000 crowd, and the following week going to Adams Park and no one being there. That's how many people we're losing in a week at this moment in time. And it just puts it into perspective. So let's make sure that we get that right first, and we get people's safety. And obviously we don't want to jeopardize any of our players or any of our players' families or any supporters for that matter. Anybody connected with a club. Let's get that right first. And football will be ready for us when we're ready for football. And we'll get back into the swing of things when it's the right time.
Yeah, well said, Dobbo.
Absolutely. And I guess it's just about drilling that into the players as well. You mentioned it earlier, and kind of keeping them focused, because when it does all come around, anything that's gone previously in terms of form and kind of fitness, you're almost starting again, aren't you, with a new season, a new leaf. And if we do get the opportunity to continue the season, it's now just a 10-game season that you need to prepare for almost from scratch, I suppose.
Definitely. I think this is the time now where we're going to have to work on the players' mental side, the psychology side of everything, because this is almost the summer break now, very similar to a summer break. But the difference is they can't be in the gyms doing their RDLs and their deadlifts and things like that. So they're missing. It's probably worse than the summer break, where they're losing a little bit more than they usually would. I know I speak to them regular, as Dobbo says. They're all ticking over, but we're not going to instruct them to go and do anything at the moment. This is going to be a total new period in this season. It's still the same season, of course it is. If it reconvenes, but it's different, as you're saying. We have to treat this different. I don't want it to be a continuation of where we were. It's going to be a new start, a fresh start, and we're going to make it like that. But I'll reiterate what Dobbo says: until everyone's safe and we can do this properly, then there's no way that we want to do it. There's all sorts of little details that need to be correct before we go back playing football, and there's a lot more and more important things, as you often hear me say. But we are working with the boys. Well, I am. I'm the manager. My staff, majority of them aren't doing much at the moment, but I'm still contacting the boys as a friendly face and a friendly voice to say, look, just relax, and we'll tell you when it's all right to come back and how we're going to build you back. And then that's David and Kian's domain, getting them back in physical perfect shape. And if we can start the season like we've started this season, then we will be in a real good place. But again, if it doesn't, then we can go into talking about all sorts of different methods of how they're going to finish the season and who makes those decisions. But at the moment, we can't control any of that. All we can control is me contacting the boys, seeing how they are, making sure they're all fine, and what we do at home. And endless footage on Y-Scout, our recruitment lists, our reviews of the season. We've gone round in circles, but let me just say we're backed as well to be able to do all this stuff. We're backed by a fantastic guy over in New Orleans, and I hope I don't embarrass you, but his nephew sat in front of us as well. We've got some great backing that allows us feel confident about Wycombe Wanderers in the future. But again, health first.
You know, the question is one of those ones that we almost don't allow ourselves to ask when we're having the conversations about what we're doing. It's not up to us. There's 92 clubs in the Football League. There's the EFL board that runs things. There's the Premier League. There's the championship guys. My conversations with you, Matt, and the rest of the business staff, and then with Gareth on the football side with those guys is we almost have to have, we have to have a plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And a month and a half ago, we had plan A and plan B. And then as soon as everything started going down, I started talking about with Gareth and the guys, plan C. And it pretty quickly adapted into, we have to be able to look at whatever the situation is on a daily basis and react to that. And once the regulatory authorities, the EFL, the Premier League, and the government tell us what to do, then we'll be able to plan. Until then, we can only think about scenarios that could happen and plan on those. And it just really doesn't matter. It almost doesn't matter what we think. Does that stop us from injecting our opinion into the conversation? No. We're very lucky in that Gareth is very close to all the guys in the LMA. Matt's on the PFA committee that's talking to the EFL. It's yet another impressive thing about the Wycombe Wanderers Football Club. When things happen like this, the people that are involved in our club are brought in to inject their opinion, and it's valued. So appreciate Dobbo's response on exactly where we are right now. Right where we are right now is hoping the numbers keep improving so that some decisions can be made. And when we're told what we can do, we're going to embark upon plan A, plan B, plan C, or plan D, whichever one is most feasible.
Yeah. Being adaptable is something we're very good at as well.
I said it has been a remarkable season so far. Marcus White, we'll go around the room if you like. Which performance sticks out the most from this season? Because we've been reviewing them all recently on social media and looking back at all of the wins and the key turning points in the season. There've been so many, but for each of you individually, have you got one performance that sticks out the most? I'll flash the question back up.
I'll say Sunderland at home for us this season. Absolutely loved it. Obviously, going there last season and nearly to actually coming away and actually beat them this year, it was great. And the lads, every single one was fantastic all the way through. And I think they were quite shell-shocked about it. They were expecting more out of the game. So, that for me, that was my favourite of the season.
I'll say on that as well, it's forgotten about, but in the last minute, Rocky's made a wonderful save, hasn't he? From McGeady, I think it was, a shot from 25 yards out. People remember Darius's goal and his interview afterwards, but Rocky made a real key intervention there. Yeah,
McGeady came up because I knew McGeady from Everton, obviously, but he pulled me up and said, I don't know how he pulled that one off. He said, I thought that was in all the way. So, it was a great save, to be fair. Great save.
From my perspective, the one that comes into my mind is Rotherham away. I love an away victory because I love going into somebody else's backyard and doing a job on them. And also the trip home when you've won on the coach, the feeling of contentment is just fantastic. So I really enjoyed that one for a number of reasons. Firstly, I thought the players were super resilient. I never felt like Rotherham were going to score in the game. I thought we had control of the game all the way through. It's what we do best. When we're resilient, we stop people from getting chances and then we hit them on the counter-attack. I remember on that day, we had a number of counter-attacks that just put fear into them that we could always go and score another goal if we needed to. And obviously, we tweaked the tactics. We spoke a little bit about the inverted trapezium, but we tweaked the tactics a little bit to try and nullify what they did, and it worked really well. So from a holistic point of view, the contribution of everybody that led to that game was great. And there was a great moment on the touchline as well, which I'll tell you about. We had a guy just to the right of our dugout who just spent the whole first half berating myself and Gaz, giving us dogs abuse. And we had a goal kick, and one of our lads was offside. But as you know, you can't be offside from a goal kick. So Rocky's hit this goal kick, and the guy's screaming, offside, offside. And I turned around to him and just said to him quite calmly, "Can't be offside from a goal kick." And I was expecting a load of abuse. And he turned back to me and went, "You live and learn." And that was the end of the exchange.
Wow.
Totally took me by surprise. Great
You
little moment.
doubled him. You doubled him.
That was exactly the match I was going to say. That was exactly the match. I was looking it up because I wanted the stats. Early in the week, I'd stopped by the training ground, and Dobbo and Gareth were talking about the game plan. And I was just poking in and overheard. I think it was the first time that Gareth mentioned the words inverted trapezium. It was kind of a joke because, our guys are the tactical approach. They give a greater effort on the tactical approach than I think most management teams do from a game-to-game basis. I don't think we're respected because of the defensive approach that we may have. But given our resources and the league we're trying to compete in, there's a very rational approach to how you take the most points. And from a game-to-game basis, I see the switches that these guys make that go unnoticed because I think most people, when they're looking at football matches, just think about offense. And so the Rotherham match was unbelievable to me because they came up with a game plan that took our strengths and brought it to a tough away opponent. And at that time, everybody was kind of jumbled, but these guys knew exactly how good Rotherham were. We let them have what were the stats? 29%. We had 29% possession and 1-0. There were some further dynamics on those stats. Maybe Dobbo, that you could go into about how many of their passes were negative passes. And y'all saw that going into the match, and that's one of the reasons that you chose to give them the ball.
Yeah, we knew that they were physically. I mean, every single one of them is about 6'3" tall, and they like to play forward very quickly. So we just made sure we denied their space and stopped certain players getting on the ball in the middle of the park, so that we congested everything that they played forward, and we always got bodies around the ball. Yeah. And so they never really had any time and space around our penalty area to get any meaningful shots or crosses into our box. And obviously that leaves space behind opponents when you allow them to come onto you. And Scotty Casket, I mean, the ball from Anthony Stewart with the outside of his right foot was sublime. And Scotty does what Scotty does. He makes it look easy finishing. So, it was a great goal. But I also remember, I think Bloom has had an effort at the end, and Bale had a chance maybe, and we exploited the space behind him really well. So
we got very up again,
which is nice. Yeah.
Well, Watesy, apart from Hungerford away, any favourites?
Sorry, you said it to me. I didn't hear.
Yeah. So I was asking you for your favourite sort of team performance of the season.
The one that sticks out in my mind, although there's been lots of really great performances, and this one, we actually conceded a goal, which we came away a little bit disappointed. But for me, the Fleetwood away game started to sow the seed of a really strong defensive unit, and Darius had just come into the side, and Anthony and all of the guys really started to show that every ball that came into our box, we got the first touch to, and we started defending our penalty area really well, and that was kind of started to turn the seed from the little run that we went on, where really we were so hard to score against. And I think that was where I first started to see that, and that really kind of put us on the upward trajectory when certainly defensively we were really hard to beat from then, really. So that's the one that kind of like sticks out in my mind as being the start of really kicking on this season.
Gaffer?
Yeah, obviously very difficult for me because of the squad. I don't want to pick out a game and people will think I didn't play in that game. It's been we've had some real good performances this season. I'm proud of them all. You know, I really am. From the linking at home, you know, when we put the tactics in place to the game was all about Lincoln. It was all about the Cowley brothers, and they were going to go to the championship, and Lincoln could have gone top that day, and nobody expected Little Wickham to go top that day and do what we did that day. And I think moments like that, Southend at home, you know, what a game, you know, for entertainment value, but we've conceded 3 goals, you know, so. They're all in there. They all give me different things. But yeah, I'm really proud of the players, the staff, and what we do. And Pete just touched on it there. You know, we spend hours in my office sometimes with the footage on the board, and really going to town on what would hurt the team and what they would hurt us by doing, and how we're going to play against this team. And it's not, you know, it's not just going out there, going every week. Yeah, that's the team. Some real work goes in, and you know, a couple of unsung heroes, Kieran and Josh, who aren't here, you know, in the room as well. Great, all play their part. You know, Kieran stays out of the tactics. I think he's probably dangerous trying to get him involved. But Josh, you know, he really does produce his weight. You know, he's a top guy, and it's really enhanced of what we are, and I think it's seen. You know, I know we have some tough games sometimes, but to be a contender in League One is something we could only have dreamt of years ago, and we're right there, right amongst it, and yeah, really proud. So I'll save my performance of the season. It might be coming yet. Let's say that.
I love that. I'm going to agree with Ben. Actually, he talked about Rochdale away. I loved that. They'd just drawn 1-1 at Old Trafford, hadn't they, on the Wednesday? We went there, you know, barely kicked the ball, but when we did, it was effective. We got it forward. We scored our 3 goals. Absolutely deserved it. We could have played all night and kept them at bay. I think we touched on music earlier, and a different genre of music emerged this weekend. And I don't know, Dobbo and Watesy, have you heard the new track from Courtney Hawes, who has released a charity single? Have you heard that yet?
I saw a little bit. I didn't. It popped up on the social media, and I saw a little bit. I didn't know he was into his music like that, so it surprised me a little bit. But yeah, good for him. Have you seen it, Dobbo?
No, wait. See, one thing you will remember is our journeys dropping the boys back to digs when we were taking youth team, and the rapping that used to go on in the back of the van. And I remember Kadeem Harris and Anthony Stewart quite prominent in that, and I'm guessing Courtney would have been as well when he was around them. So I do remember them days, and I didn't have a clue what they were saying. I've got to be honest with you, but it sounded okay. But look, great for Courtney. He's a great lad, Courtney. Anybody that's ever come across him, he's a really humble guy, and I'm really pleased for him that he's made it to the Premier League. We always thought that he had the potential to do that, and if he's giving a little bit back to his community at the same time, then it's just a measure of him as well.
And it must take you back as well to the youth team days. I know that there's hopefully plans, and I know that, you know, the coronavirus has maybe put a little dent in it, but Wickham might return to perhaps a B team or under 23s. But I mean, the youth team that you guys had, Jordan Ibe, as you mentioned, some other names there, Anthony, Kadeem, Josh Gowan, a really proud time for yourselves at the club, and you must have really fond memories of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we played at Bisham Abbey, which was at the time was the same markings or same size as Wembley, because England had used to use that as their training venue. So we had this huge pitch, and we had some really good players, so we could really dominate the ball. And we had games where we were the ones who had 80% possession. You know, just like we were fortunate. We had some really good players that all came together at the same time. I remember we played a National Cup final at Adams Park, which we won, and we had a move in that game that was something like 40 passes and 1 minute 40 seconds we kept the ball for, and it finished with a shot just off target. And those moments, you know, when you're educating the players, you want them to be good with the ball. And at youth team level, you can experiment and you can do them things. And we were just fortunate that, you know, you got Scowen and Anthony Stewart and Dunn and Kadeem Harris and Ibe, and, you know, so many good players that came together at a similar time. It was a joy to work with them. And, you know, some of them have gone on to do really well. Some of them haven't quite achieved the potential that I hope they might. But that's the nature of football, and people move on, and sometimes it fits and sometimes it doesn't.
Andy, who are the young players? Obviously, I know we've talked about your time at Everton, but you've worked at the top level in terms of Premier League youth football as well. Who are the key names that stood out for you in your career? You still with us, Andy?
I lost you then. Sorry, I'm back in. It went blank on me. Sorry.
That's all right. I was asking who are the best young players you've seen in your coaching career?
Yeah, you're back on. I can see you now.
Oh, that's all right. Obviously, young player, but in terms of your coaching career, who are the best young players that you've seen or worked with?
I can remember Ross Barkley coming through. I remember him, playing against him at when I was at Wigan and him at Everton. He was unbelievable as a kid. Absolutely destroyed Wigan single-handedly. He was excellent. I'm trying to think of the other ones coming through at the time. There's Liam Walsh, who's currently at Coventry. He was a bit of a late developer, but and he struggled because he's only a small lad. But what a player on the ball! You name it, he can do it. Left foot, right foot. I remember one time going to one of the Welsh teams. Who was it? Real, I think it was, for a pre-season friendly with him. He's come on, and within basically 30 seconds, he sparked out a 22-man brawl between the players. He's just found the biggest player to stamp his authority and gone straight through him. To say, I'm here. What are you going to do about it? So, in terms of talent on the ball, phenomenal. I think he'll go higher as well.
And Gaz as well. Josh has made a point about Eberici Eze, who just keeps being talked about at QPR. I know QPR are a club that obviously you keep an eye on very closely because of your links there, and you must be thrilled to see Ebbs doing so well at Loftus Road.
Yeah, I spoke to Mark Warburton last week, actually. One or two bits trying to catch up, and I've spoke to maybe 10 managers in work at the current time. We'll converse and try and keep up with each other. But in terms of Ez, he's possibly the best player I've coached in my 10 years. He's right up there. I can't think of many more that could do what he could do, and I think there was more to come as well. From as I think he had this knack of every time the ball came to him, he would know his first touch, which space to take it into on his first touch that was away from everybody and give him that time to play a fantastic pass, or whether it was a first time. But he just had this knack. I know Dobbo talks about scanning a lot when we play. He seemed to have this sixth sense around him that he didn't need to scan. He just knew. And you seldom see it in these players, but you see it in the top leagues, in your Spanish leagues, and when the game's all about that possession side of the game. We had to work on him. We still had to work on him. He was a young lad. We gave him his debut, and the work where I think he knew how good he was on the ball, but off the ball he still needed to work as hard. And I remember going back to the start double with Joel Grant, when we used to tell Joel about the harder he worked, the more success he would have personally on the ball. And it was very similar to Ebbs. We said to him we had to correlate that his work rate was good for him on the ball. It was a really important lesson, and I sat through endless clips with him and videos, and I remember I had to dig him out in front of the boys once about a recovery run. But this was all not for me, not for the lads. This was for Ebbs to know that he had to get better, and he would go all the way. And I would not be surprised if he's not in the Premier League next year. I'll be more surprised if he's still playing in the Championship. I think what's happened in football in the current climate, I think he'd be a bargain for somebody to take a chance on. And he's a game changer. He's a game changer, a game winner. And right at the start, he could be a game loser, but he's not anymore. He could be that luxury that you thought, what's he contributed off the ball? I watch him now, and he contributes so much off the ball as well. It's fantastic to see the lessons he took from Wickham have made him a top-class player, and I expect him to be in the Premier League very soon.
Yeah, I agree, Gaz, and what a humble young lad as well, by the way. the way he conducted himself when he was here. You want to see the good boys or the good guys in football succeed, and there's one of the good guys. And fingers crossed, as Gaz says, he'll be in the Premier League and we can watch him on Match of the Day in the future.
I'm just going to go to a question from Andrew Tillman as well. And we're going to run soon to know a couple of you guys have got others. And our home form this season has just been remarkable. And I remember the Wembley year, I think we had 13 away wins or something like that, but couldn't quite replicate it at home. What is it about this season that you think, we've sent away Lincoln, Sunderland, Portsmouth, picking up important 3 points against each of those teams and really been formidable, haven't we?
Yeah, we haven't. And I'll jump in first before Dobbo and Andy and Wates here speak. But I think the mental side of the game is huge. And once you start winning, it's a great habit to have. It's a great habit to be very strong. And then once you're walking out in them surroundings, you're comfortable. You know where you are. Matt decided to go and not listen to the answer, but I'll give the answer anyway. The surroundings you have and walking out on those pitch, it's all a comfortable thing. I think we're quite a small pitch as well, which suits our style of play. We did that intentionally a few years ago, which was tight, which enabled us with players like Bayo in the team to be stronger to a team. I think on the bigger pitches sometimes we get stretched, and we've often talked about this. And this was research me and Dobbo did about 4 years ago, and Wates, I think, and we went into the pitch sizes and why we'd done so well at certain grounds, why we hadn't. So again, that comes into it. And it's home. It's Adams Park. I think driving up Hillbottom Road, getting in the car park. I remember playing at QPR, and I used to love the drive in and the comfort that I'd feel. So I think all those factors first, before any of the tactics, before any of the football, I think they could play a big part in being at home. And good teams are successful at home, and I think it's played a huge part, as have all the fans, getting behind us every week. And the amount of late goals we've got, wow, in front of the terrace has been phenomenal this season. I've loved every one of those. I don't know if you want to add, Dobbo, to that on a tactical point of view.
Well, no, just to add was it's all about confidence, and we started the season well. It bred confidence in the team, and they went out at the start of the season believing that they couldn't be beat. And it was great to see this, the confidence that the team was taking out onto the pitch week after week. And you look at Fleetwood and you look at Portsmouth, who had slow starts, but then all of a sudden they picked up confidence and they've come like a train at the second half of the season. Sunderland likewise. The game is very much about confidence and breeding confidence within the players. And our boys were full of it at that stage and playing, to the peak of their abilities. So that's the key. As a coach, we can talk about tactics all day long, but instilling confidence in the team and making players believe that they're brilliant players and they're capable of achieving more than they think they can is a huge part of coaching. Added to that, the connection between the players and the fans. I don't often watch goal celebrations or at the end of the game when the players walk around the pitch, and I tend to see it afterwards on the highlights. And there's a real connection between the fans and the players. I think the fans understand what the players represent and see that representation as something that they want to identify with. So when we're at home at the moment, it's a real good place to be because there's a strong connection between the players, the staff, and the fans, which makes it a real homely place to come and play football.
Great.
Absolutely. I think it just whets the appetite, doesn't it, for us to get back there. But as you say, it has to be when the time is right and when society is ready for football to resume. We're up to the hour, so I think we're going to knock it on the head there, unless any of you guys have got any closing comments you'd like to make. Thank you to everyone who has tuned in. The Lavender family, as always, thank you for your message. To Lisa as well. It has been an incredible season. And guys, we just look forward to seeing you again when the time is right. I'm sure you miss each other in a strange way. You spend so much time together during the season, more so than you do with your families quite often. It must be strange to be apart, but once we're all back together, we'll create something special again, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'd say thanks, Matt and Pete, for keeping everyone connected like this. It's great to watch the boys earlier in the week, and obviously Bill and AP and Phil are well versed in this kind of thing, so they made it look really smooth, and we've had to follow that up, which has been difficult. But it's great to keep everybody connected at the club, and I thank you guys for that as well.
No, that's our pleasure.
Thanks
Cool.
for coming on, y'all.
Yeah, thanks very much. Guys, take care. Thanks everyone for watching. The link will stay up on social. I'm going to share the video of Gaz being shown how to do skills by Kane as well. That'll be entertaining for you. But for everyone, thanks for watching. We'll be back on Wednesday with some more players in the building. But for now, take care. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Keep winning.
Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.